The Astros fall in the series to the Rangers 2-3. Arlington walking away with the series win. 8 of the 9 runs by the Rangers were unearned. Unbelievable. This team's sputtering. We're going to talk about this and the upcoming series also on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Beer leans back. This game is turned upside down. There's the runner. Fly ball down the right field line. Tucker comes on. Kyle Tucker. This time they finish the job.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we update you joins for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can they find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm back on TikTok and at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive. I hate the Rangers of Arlington or Southern Oklahoma, however you want to refer to them. Always Stros.
Hey, you, the everyday people that listen to our podcast every day, thank you for subscribing to us. Thank you for making us your first listen on YouTube, Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you, everydayers, for making us your first listen every day. And today's episode is brought to you by Pro Baseball GM. Ever dreamed of being a MLB GM and managing your baseball franchise? Then this game is definitely for you. To download the game, just visit theultimatebaseballgm.com or look it up on the App Store. Our listeners get a 100% free boost to their franchise when using the promo code Locked On, all caps, in the game. So, Brett, I know that you're actually at the game. That's why we're starting a little bit later tonight, but that's fine.
Thanks for pointing that out.
I'm sure that it's I'm sure the PTSD is going to be kicking in pretty soon for you being there. And it was good until the 7th inning, and then it just all fell apart.
No,
Defense
hold on.
For Abreu, he didn't scoop that ball, and then you had Pena overthrew the ball, and it just was not a good look. And I was doing the Blue Jays crossover, and I wasn't really watching, but all I saw was the grand slam. I was like, what the heck just happened? And then you had Craig was like, what's going on? And something must have bad happened. I'm like, yeah, they just gave up a grand slam. And so it must have been painful to watch.
Yeah. I don't know if it was good to start out with. I mean, yeah, Framber was throwing up zeros, but so was the Astros offense. I mean, this is Andrew Heaney who came in. Yes, I know. He just tied a record set by Nolan Ryan for 9 batters being struck out in a row in a single game. Good job, Andrew Heaney. Nice consolation prize. This guy had an ERA of 8.89 coming into the game. This is the Arlington Rangers, who have a difficult time winning in Houston. And when your pitcher is dealing zeros, you back him up and you get on base and you score. If we can, I want to go off on the Jake Myers being in the lineup, but he had 2 walks. He didn't even strike out.
He made a great catch to save some runs late in game 2.
I mean, he made a good catch. But this offense mustered 4 hits in 9 innings. They left 9 runners on base. They freaking got the bases loaded with no outs. No outs. And they pushed across a run because of a walk. The only reason why they scored is because the other pitcher screwed up. That's pathetic. I know it's April. I know nobody wins a World Series in April. Congratulations, Rangers. But I literally got people that don't ever texting me, oh, the Rangers beat the Astros. And it's so frustrating because this team has more in it. I don't care that Altuve's not in there. I don't care that Brantley's not in there. We're still a professional baseball team. We still have to come to the ballpark and perform. And they're not performing. It is not a World Series winning ball club right now. And again, I'm not panicking, but Eric, this is pathetic. This is a pathetic way to win. You just kick their tail the night before, and then you come in here and you get obliterated and embarrassed by the freaking Rangers of South Oklahoma.
Right.
What in the hell just happened? What did I just watch?
All right, I'm just going to bring you down even more, Brett. That's just what Eric
Come on,
Huysman
man.
does. The Rangers haven't won a series in Houston since a 3-game sweep in July of 2018. All right, and this is the latest point the Rangers have ever owned even a share of first place in the West since the final day of the 2016 season when they won the division. So basically from 2017 to 2022, the Rangers had one day in which they held or were tied for first place in the West. So congratulations, Rangers. You are looking like a legit team. You finally got the pitching that you needed, and the hitting is coming through now. And so now can it be sustained? I don't know. It's early in the season. It's just like the Mariners a couple years ago or last year when they took off and then kind of fell apart. And you see teams get off to this hot start and then they kind of fall apart down the road. I'm not saying the Rangers are going to do that, but this team does look a little bit more legit this year. So until I see otherwise, I'm going to say it's going to be between the Astros and the Rangers in the West. But at this point, the Astros have got to play better baseball. I mean, like me and Craig were talking about the Blue Jays series, and it's a little scary knowing who we're going to be facing. And game 3, it's going to be Jose Berrios versus Luis Garcia. And we saw what the Rangers did to that. And Berrios he did break the Rays winning streak, but he's also struggled this year. So it's not even that, but after the Blue Jays, you're facing the Braves. And then you're facing the Rays. The Braves have a 12-4 record right now. The Rays have a 14-2 record. The Blue Jays have a 10-6 record. It's scary, man.
So the upcoming schedule is literally Blue Jays, Braves, Rays, Phillies. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's not good. And then you look at the Rangers' upcoming schedule. The A's, the Reds, the Royals first, the A's, the Reds, and then they go to New York for 4. Let's hope the Yankees beat the hell out of them. It's the only time I'm ever going to root for the Yankees this year is to beat the crap out of the Rangers. I hate losing to the Rangers because they're the freaking Rangers. They're the JV team of Texas. They haven't won a World Series title. And this team is better than that team. But I can't say that right now because it's simply not true. It's just not true right now. When Mauricio Dubon is your leading batting average guy, and he's not even helping out. Yordan Alvarez, let me tell you, when Will Smith was throwing to Yordan there, let me tell you, I was like, he's going to throw him sliders and changeups. And what did he do? Sliders and changeups. What did he do? Freaking hit a cue ball shot to third base and grounded out. I knew he wasn't going to give him a fastball. I knew he wasn't going to give him anything to hit. And that has been Yordan's early weak point, despite the 20 RBIs and the 4 home runs where he's hitting the ball. But, man, he's susceptible to that changeup. He's susceptible to that slider. And I hope that that's something that they evaluate. But coming in, it would be a very Astros thing to have a dominant game against the Blue Jays after something like this. Because I was there Friday when they lost. And I was like, gosh, they're probably going to get swept. And the next game, they just knocked the cover off the ball. They made the Rangers look like the Texas Rangers. I mean, the inferior ball club. And so, I don't know, dude. At the end of the day, when you got freaking Will Smith up there, it just kind of pisses you off because you're like, how did he get picked up? How does the GM take on Will Smith? He literally got a ring. He's like the kid. I saw this on Twitter. He's like the kid who got an A in the group project but didn't do anything. That's how he got a World Series ring. He didn't do jack crap to earn it. But let me tell you something. If you want to be a pro baseball GM and you have aspirations to do that, maybe start with this app, okay? Go to your app store or probaseballgm.com, and you'll get a 100% free boost by using the promo code Locked On. That's right. In the game shop, do that. Check it out. My experience is this. I love it. I love this game. I'm not very good at it. I've been fired multiple times. I actually turned off the ability for the game to fire me so that I don't get fired. And right now I have an 87% approval rating from my owner. So I think he likes the job that I'm doing. So you can hire coaches, the right ones, you can fire them, the wrong ones, scouting, drafting players, international draft, free agency, you can trade. You can navigate through free agency, the ups and the downs of a season, like the Houston Astros. Dana Brown, what a tough task. Takes on a team ready to reign and more like ready to take another squat on the toilet, because that's what it's been lately. But with Ultimate Baseball GM, it doesn't matter. This is what you need to do. Locked On Astros listeners, get your free boost by using the promo code Locked On at your game shop, or go to probaseballgm.com. Go to your app store, download it. It's fun. It's free. It'll be awesome. Tell them H-Town Wheelhouse sent you.
I saw a comment that said that the Astros bullpen ERA is like 8 something. It's actually not that bad. I know it may have come up a little bit with today's game, but before today's game, it's middle of the pack right now at 3.95. And if you're looking at who has best ERA, it's the Brewers with a 2.26 ERA. If you're looking at which team has the worst ERA, it's out of the bullpen. It's the Chicago White Sox with a 7.57 ERA. So,
their ERA didn't go up at all today because only one of the 9 runs was earned. 8 of them were unearned runs. That's insane. That is insane. 8 of the 9 runs were unearned runs. So their ERA is not going to go up. That's, I think, with their FIP numbers or XFIP,
right,
whatever, all that stuff's going to be going up through the roof. And the Astros, I mean, like, say what you want about Valdez, but, you know, I don't know, man. I can't right now with this team. I just freaking, how do you do this? I don't, 9-1, like, really? Like, what are we doing? What is going on? Nobody's ready to reign. Put the gold jerseys in the freaking, put them up, put them away. Stop wearing the gold hats. Let's win. And let's play like we've actually been there before, right? And then let's celebrate the gold stuff again. Like, don't even give away the Chaz ring Wednesday. Just like put that crap away. Win a series and then start celebrating. Celebrate like champs. Sorry, I'm just.
And you can find him at H-Town Wheelhouse on
man.
Twitter. You can find him at Facebook.
Dude, everybody's pissed off like me. I'm just willing to say it live on air for the whole world to hear.
Yeah. So
no, I'm not Larry. I'm far from Larry. I'm telling you right now, I still have hope. I still have money on the Astros winning the World Series. I still have them winning the World Series. But they need to get their crap together. They need to get their act together. And you're right, I ain't having it.
All righty. So day after the Astros scored their most runs in a game where they won the game, I believe it was 8-2. They gave up their most runs in a game, 9 runs. So it's just been one of those series that was either good or bad. Luis Garcia looked so hittable in Friday's game, and it just was not a great game overall. Garcia gave up 5 runs. He did have 7 strikeouts. His ERA is at 7.71. But the one bright point of the series has got to be what Hunter Brown did. Even though the Astros infield defense has just looked shaky, especially the last 2 games. It looks like even Dubon made an error. And Dubon, by the way, before we get to Hunter Brown, Dubon actually struck out today and with bases loaded, and he was so pissed off, and it was he was just like, no, you got to appeal that, and they're like, no, you went through. And so even the announcers were like, yeah, he went through. And so Dubon is just so not used to striking out, and so that was the situation where it just was a bad game. But Hunter Brown did what he could do, considering the fact that the defense just was not on top of their A game. He gave up 2 unearned runs in that game. And so but he had 5 strikeouts in 7 innings, 5 hits. His ERA is 1.93 on the season. he got his second win on the season. He just looked so dominant on Saturday night.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, you know what, Mr. Rashad, you are correct. I do have to be careful using the ready to rain hashtag. I better be more responsible with that. Look, I am always positive, always Stros, but I am always willing to
Did you get
call.
put up on a big screen or something?
I did not know. Let me just tell you, I sat in the Budweiser porch. It was pretty nice. Let me just tell you, when you treat people right, good things happen for you, my friend. It was phenomenal. I didn't win I didn't win the little charity auction giveaway thing, but I put some money in the pot for the Astros Foundation. So that was a highlight of the evening. Hanging out with friends, got to see people that were there that I haven't seen in a while. So that was fun catching up. I met a dude from Brooklyn. He's a Rangers fan. And I'm like, why are you a Rangers fan? He goes, because I'm a Josh Hamilton fan. And I'm like, what? I was in some bizarro world tonight. The Rangers won 9-1. The Astros looked terrible. But the friends were good. The drinks were cold. So, hey, look, at the end of the day, it was, 2 games I went to, they've lost. I'm not taking the blame for this because their bats just need to wake the hell up. That's just all there is to it. Because, dude, the Blue Jays are coming to town, and holy crap. We got to be careful. I can't wait to watch your episode with the Locked On Blue Jays host. Thanks for doing that for me. And Eric, dude, you went running around the Astrodome. I was kind of hoping that would bring some luck to the Astros. How was that? How many times around the dome did you have to run?
Well, we went around the dome, but we also went around we went up the ramp and went over to the green lot across.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of incline there. And so let's just say that I did it within 45 minutes. And so the 5K. So I'm not a trained runner by any means. The fastest somebody did it that day was 19 minutes. And
well, that's someone
like 6 minutes per mile. How do you do that? How do you have that endurance to do that? But it was
spend a lot of time.
Yeah, it was just a good event, and they're doing it to try to raise money to just figure out what they want to do with the dome. And Mike Acosta was there, and I talked to him, and I'm like, and he said that since he has more time on his hands, he's able to kind of focus on getting something going with the dome. So he said that he'll come on a podcast and talk about the plans for the dome. But
that's awesome.
Pretty cool. And there's a lot of people. So let's just say I finished in the middle about.
Well,
it wasn't last.
Look, here's the deal. I used to be a long distance runner. I've ran 3 half marathons. I've ran probably 5 10Ks, and I've lost count how many 5Ks. If you can do a 5K in the same amount of time on flat ground that you do with varying elevations, that's saying something. That means you were cooking, dude. Okay. And so if you would have had flat ground, you probably would have beat your time by 3 or 4 minutes. So good job. Good for you, Eric. I was running around chasing referees all day. Golly, man, this weekend, dude, our refs, like, I guess that's why I was kind of in a foul mood, because all weekend had to do with refs that were just terrible. And then I had to watch two very bad baseball games. It's just not a fun weekend overall. Now, the blessing is that, hey, I got to go, and I know everybody doesn't get to go. And the blessing is I got to watch my son play basketball, and he did great. But, man, look, we got to take these lumps. And I said it. You said it. We talked about the season before it started. It's going to come with bumps and bruises, and it's going to come with looking at things in a different light, because it's not going to be how it happened. I literally have fans trying to convince me that we should have kept Yuli. And see, Yuli wouldn't have made that era. Yuli wouldn't have done that. They are all over Abreu right now. They are hyper-focusing on his glove. And you know what I love is I want to talk about So Rare, because I'm actually in my first week, and I can't give you a report on it just yet. But SoRare.com is this, they have this app, okay? If you type in SoRare.com/lockedon, you'll go straight to it. You can see all 30 teams, and it's basically fantasy baseball with digital baseball cards. But it's not an NFT, but it's digital baseball cards, but it's free. And so what's cool is you pick your lineup, and your lineup going into the week, and then out of those players, you score points. And my team kind of sputtered out of the starting blocks today. I was really hoping Jordan would hit a home run because he's on my team. My team that I had this week was none other than Nicholas Lodolo from the Reds, Brian Abreu, Joshua Jung, yes, a Ranger, Cal Riley, Jordan Alvarez, James Outman, Drew Rasmussen. Okay, I had those guys on my team, and I'm ranked in the second tier. I've not the worst off, but if you go to sorare.com, it's awesome because you get chances to increase your values of your cards, and if you get to the top 10%, you can win prizes, autographs, everything like that. So go check out sorare.com/lockedon. You'll love it. I love it. It's super fun to play.
All right. Yeah, I see all the comments on Twitter about Yuli, but the fact is he's gone. The Astros made the decision to move on.
Like, he's gone.
Yeah, it's just like that girlfriend that's gone. You just got to get over the girlfriend that's gone. And it's just like, there's nothing to do about it. He's with another team now. He's dating another team. So you just got to move on with the situation and just know that you're currently dating Jose Abreu.
Look what MZ said. Bagwell probably thought he was so genius when he signed Abreu. I love it. Dude, MZ's bagging on Bagwell. That's kind of funny. That's a classic. I love it.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's nothing much you can do about it unless you make a trade with the Marlins for Yuli. You have him for the next 3 years. You already committed to Abreu. He's going to have to come out of it. So we'll see what happens here. But this game was not purely on Abreu. I think that there's a lot of things the offense could have done, come through more with the bases loaded. And I think pitchers are starting to find ways to get Alvarez out with the low outside pitches. We saw that with, who was it? The lefty, I think Martin Perez got him out a couple times, strike out. Then we saw Smith, I believe it was Smith, come in and get that weak ground ball. But one thing we haven't talked about is the fact that Yainer Diaz knocked John Gray out of the game with a 109-mile-per-hour fastball that hit his forearm. And it just let this – I don't think he's going to miss his next start, but that was just crazy that he was trying to stay in game. He's like, no, I can pitch. And you could see the trainer be like, nah, that does not look good, dude. That's your pitching arm. So it's frustrating. But the Astros are 7-9 for the second year in a row. And so we'll see what happens from here. Okay. But
let's talk about this. Of those 7 wins, who was the catcher behind the plate for 5 of them?
I'm guessing you're going to say Yainer Diaz.
Yainer Diaz. That's right.
But was he mic'd up during the second inning? No, he was not.
But they were 5-0 when Yainer Diaz is behind the plate.
Right.
You're undefeated. And as you know me, I'm a mouthy defender. I mean, I got accused of being a part of a cult or the leader of it, okay? Because I support Maldonado. But if you're getting results from Diaz behind the plate and you're 5-0,
right?
Why the hell are you not starting him more? I'm not saying he has to be the starter. And I'm not necessarily saying that he is the direct cause. But there's got to be something said about that, okay? At what point do the Astros realize that, wins do add up and losses do add up? And this may be a 4-horse race.
Yeah.
This may be the Astros, the Mariners, the Angels, and the Rangers. And the AL West may be a dogfight unlike it's ever been. And you're correct. Like, the only thing we have to go off of is what we have now. Mm-hmm. We can have hope in one hand and what in another. And they both mean the same thing. But at the end of the day, what lineup would I put out there? Corey Julks should be on that field almost every game. Jake Myers has no business being in the starting lineup. He just doesn't. He doesn't.
Something else we haven't talked about. Why is Jake Myers in center field? Because Chas McCormick was having vision problems.
He is. I understand that. Put Corey Julks out there. I'm
In
sorry.
center field?
Heck yeah, put Corey Julks out there. You saw how he ran down that ball when he was in left field. Why can't he do that in center field? The kid's played center field before. He's got a hell of an arm. He's got an outfield assist. He's got a bat too. His bat works. Like Jake Myers couldn't even weakly hit the ball over the second baseman's head to get a run in. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm just frustrated because I think there are some things that we can do differently, and I hope we go off script for success and for a higher chance of winning than going with what we always go with. Okay. Yeah. And look, I gave Dusty all the credit last year, and I'm not bashing Dusty, but Eric, if we can't objectively look at this team and be critical of it, then what are we doing here? Because, I don't know about you, but I don't get paid by the team. I'm not even a credentialed media member right now. But so let's just call a spade, right? This team is still one of the better teams in the American League. They're playing like one of the bottom teams in the American League. So play better and make me a believer. Make me not look like the fool that I am picking the Astros to win the World Series. Do something. Something.
So if you're looking at Justin Dearden saying he could be the savior, yes, he's had a home run recently, but he's only got 3 RBIs. He's batting .220, 651 OPS. If you're looking at Pedro Leon to be that savior, he's got 1 home run, 4 RBIs. He's batting .260 with a 681 OPS. So those are 2 guys that can come up and play center field. You could maybe get creative and have Hensley play second base and then put Dubon out in center field, but Hensley hasn't really earned that kind of spot as well. So I think that they're hoping that Chas McCormick will come back, because Chas McCormick, as you'll hear in the crossover that I did with Craig, that he's had some success against Barrios, and so the Astros need him back. So I don't know if he'll be back, but there were some good updates injury-wise on Michael Brantley, and also on I think Lance McCullers as well. He threw long toss today, and his throwing program is going well and ahead of schedule. His next step is mixing the off-speed pitches in with the mound work before the end of the month, if all continues to go well. And Brantley had a good day taking live batting practice in Florida. He's facing pitchers like when during spring training, typically they've faced the coaches, but he's actually doing that. McCormick is about the same and won't be available today. I don't know if they mentioned anything after the game today. Let me check real quick.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything or seen anything. I think it'll probably be a game time decision. I'm assuming they hold him out for another game, just because, I mean, when you leave the game with vision problems. But look, to go back with Pedro Leon, he is hitting .260 right now with an OPS of 681. But in 50 at-bats, he does have 17 strikeouts. So he still needs to work on getting that strikeout rate down. On-base percentage 321, slugging percentage 360. So you definitely want him striking out less. You need him getting on base more. So at the end of the day, Pedro Leon is a guy who I think can fill the spot if it's needed down the road. He just needs more at-bats. Remember, Elvis Rodriguez of the Houston Astros told us that he's not a natural hitter, that he has to work harder at hitting than most guys. You have your natural hitters, Jordan, your natural hitters, Tucker, guys like that. But so give it time. Dearden, he's not ready yet. Dearden, they still feel like he's got holes in his swing that he needs to fix. Let these guys get at bats. It's more valuable for them getting at bats and reps every single day than sitting on the bench and coming off the bench every few days. So it benefits the players more to not come up before they're actually needed.
And they need to be, it helps for them to be kind of on a roll. You don't want them to come up when they're struggling a little bit. And speaking of struggling, I have a quotes, a thoughts by Dusty.
Thoughts by Dusty.
All right, this is actually a long one. They scored 7 unearned runs tonight. We didn't play very well. We made some mistakes. We made some mistakes in the field. We made some mistakes on the bases. The 0-2 grand slam really hurt. So today's episode is sponsored by We Made Some Mistakes.
See, that's one of those staff meetings at work where they like gather everybody for a staff meeting and they spend 30 minutes. And like at the end of the meeting, everybody rolls their eyes and goes, couldn't they have just sent that in an email? He could have just said it was a bad game. Like, you just say it's a bad game, you cover all that, right? I love Dusty. But yeah, I mean, nothing was working tonight. And look, these games are going to happen. This is going to be baseball is going to happen, right? The team that's supposed to win doesn't win every game, but the team that's supposed to win at least gives a competitive challenge to the person you're playing. I mean, they looked feeble tonight at the plate. They looked terrible. That was a bad game from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And when they got bases loaded with no outs, I was like, okay, well, I don't want someone to hit a grand slam here. I just need someone to hit with runners in scoring position.
Yeah.
That's where they need to fix things. Runners in scoring position.
Yeah. It's time to bench Mauricio Dubon. He got a strikeout. So that's his segment of the season.
That. No,
I'm jokingly saying that.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I think the Astros need to turn the page, and now that the Rangers are leaving town, they need to go ahead and gear things up for the Blue Jays, the Braves, and then the Rays, because these teams are legit, and this is going to be a tough run. And so hopefully they wake up. It's going to be Christian Javier tomorrow versus Kevin Gausman. Gausman is a pretty good pitcher in his own right. So
yeah, he's okay.
We'll see what happens, but this series definitely going to be interesting with George Springer returning, and George Springer has actually had some good success against the Houston Astros, including Luis Garcia. So that's something we talked about on the Crossover podcast. So go ahead and make sure you check that out. And guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Stros. You can find Brett at H-Town Wheelhouse. And we are the Locked On Astros podcast. And we will see you tomorrow. And go Stros.
You better start Corey Jolks tomorrow and Yainer Diaz.